guys. So typically I record your videos the night before a lesson. Sometimes I'll be super productive and get them all done in advance like I did at the beginning of the semester. Hopefully that will be me next week with the work week. Next 2 Mondays you have off. You don't have to come to school, but I do. So hopefully I'll get some more videos made in advance. But as for right now, I'm doing them on the go, and today I'm really doing it on the go because I had cheer till late, and then I watched some of the dance show, and then I came home and cooked dinner for my family, and then I fell asleep at 9. So, anyway, I am videoing this on my drive to school. Please don't ever video and drive. It's very dangerous. I'm not endorsing it. This is just what I have to do. There's a stick on my way to school that sticks up like this, and I always think it's a snake every time. I put my feet up in the middle of driving. That's also dangerous. Don't do that, because logically speaking, the snake couldn't get into my car, but it feels like it's gonna get my toes, and I wore open-toed shoes today. Anyway, it scares me every time. So today you are continuing on with A Quilt of a Country on HMH. You're going to do the check your understanding and the analyze. Now, you're going to do all of that. I am going to talk to you about something a little different though, and I want you to kind of look for it in that story and see if you can find it, and I'll ask you about it on the discussion post tomorrow. But this is what your daily quiz is going to be about today. This should be a review of something you've learned 1,000 times. If you haven't or you don't remember, don't worry, you'll learn it about 1,000 more times before you graduate high school. And this is just kind of general basic English knowledge that everybody knows. Kind of like in math, you forget most of math, but we all remember, like PEMDAS or something. It's like that. So, rhetorical appeals, and you probably don't know that they're called that, but they are. Rhetoric is the art of speaking. So we've been talking about rhetoric with David Koresh. We touched for a brief bit on Hitler last week because of Holocaust Remembrance Week, and just simply how persuasive they were, and they appeal to their audience in different ways to convince them to believe them. So these are called rhetorical appeals. There are 3 main types. Don't worry about my hands, I'm at a stoplight. So we have, and they're in Latin, there's ethos, logos, and pathos, okay? Today we're going to talk about the first one. We're going to talk about ethos. Most of my students, when I asked what ethos is, and it was I did the same thing in high school, and I had an English teacher correct us, say, what is ethos? And they say ethics. And yes, kind of same root word, right? Same Latin root word. Here's my only problem with ethics. One, if I say what is ethos and you say ethics, then I ask you what ethics means, 90% of you will say I don't remember. So that's not very helpful. And the other part of that is, like I said, it's the same root, but it is kind of come to take on a different meaning, where one is good and one is trustworthy. And at the time, in Latin, they had the same meaning, but they've just kind of adapted over time. So ethics kind of goes more along with morals, values, a good ethical person. It means many things, but to sum it up in one word, it means good. Credibility is a whole nother word in today's language. So the root cred, C-R-E-D, means to trust. So if you get a credit card, that is a bank or whomever trusting you to borrow money, and you'll pay it back. Okay, so if you have a good credit score, you get to borrow more money than someone with a bad credit score. And if you've ever heard the word incredulous, it's a big old honking word, and it means untrustworthy, because N-I-N means not, and incred, so not trustworthy. Okay, so if you ever hear that as an insult, someone says, oh, they're just incredulous. You'll hear it in your reading now and stuff. It means you can't trust them. So, credibility means trustworthy, and it really, in this case, you're appealing to someone's sense of trust, because it's an appeal to ethos in a speech. So we're looking at people who are trustworthy. So an example of that may be something as simple as your friend is telling you, if you eat an apple every single day, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. You'll be very healthy. You'll never have any health issues. And a doctor tells you that's a cute saying, but it's not true. You definitely could still get all kinds of health issues depending on what else you're eating with it and your diet, and your exercise and what you expose yourself to, chemicals, toxins, all that sort of stuff. An apple a day isn't going to save you. Who are you going to believe? Probably the doctor. Now, if you're basing this decision on logic, obviously an apple a day won't do it, so I'm going to side with the guy who says not an apple a day. That's something completely different. That is logos. But if you're trusting him solely based on the fact that he is a doctor and he knows more than your friend does and he knows more than you do, he or she, because of their degree, then you're trusting them. If you trust me to teach English more than you would trust your science teacher to teach English, or if you trust your science teacher to teach science more than you would trust me, as you should, because I cannot do science or math to save my life. I almost failed in high school and was put in remedial in college, so you can do it, but it's tough sometimes when it's a hard subject for you. But anyway, back to it. Credibility. I am trustworthy because I have a degree in the subject, same as them. So, in this A Quilt of a Country, if anyone is mentioned that is trustworthy, or the source itself, I want you to look for that. And there may not be anybody. It's been a while since I've read it, but I think there's kind of one that could go with it, but I want to see what you come up with. And look for it in your independent reading as well, if that might be easier. One more thing about this. So sometimes, who is a trustworthy source, someone who is a trustworthy source to, oh my gosh, there's so much traffic, to someone else may not be to you. So, another, credible person could be, a celebrity endorsement. So if you see a celebrity, and they put out their own product, their own hairline or whatever. There's, I'm trying to think of a celebrity I know that's done this, but they just mostly all have their own things. Like Britney Spears, I'm dating myself a little bit. She's kind of, you guys probably know her as the cuckoo lady. But she was really, really popular when I was younger. And, she was really pretty, and you just assume that somebody that hot smells good, that's what the whole world thought. She must smell really good because she's one of the beautiful people. So she came out with her own perfume, and it was very successful, and people bought it because it was Britney Spears perfume, and Britney Spears said it was good. She knows high fashion and good perfume because she's crazy rich and beautiful, so we want to smell like her, whatever she might smell like. We have no idea. We're down here in Waco, Texas, but we wanted to smell like Britney Spears, so we all went and asked Santa for Curious perfume for Christmas, and I got some one year. I was very excited. It was kind of when it started to go bankrupt, and it was cheaper because my mom was not going to pay $60 for a bottle of perfume for me, which is fair, because I don't think I ever used the whole bottle. I still have some. But anyway, we all got the Curious perfume just because Britney Spears said so. So, that can be considered ethos as well. So even if it's someone you may not consider trustworthy, again, probably wouldn't let her, Britney Spears, watch my children if I had any, or teach you guys, maybe that I wouldn't trust her to do that. However, at the time, I did trust her to smell good. So, if you ever see an ad with a celebrity in it, just go ahead and count that as ethos, okay? Okay, don't forget to take your 3-question quiz, and remember that every Friday we have a weekly quiz over those, so we will have kind of that. This Friday we're actually having your Unit 4 assessment on Eduphoria, which is kind of over all of them, but never fear. Go back and study that major quiz from last week. It will cover all of those topics, and we will play a review game of some sort. I've got to figure out a way to make it remote because in person is playing Jeopardy. So anyway, we will play a review game come Thursday, okay? But you can go back and study that major quiz if you're super worried about it now, and Ethos, Logos, and Pathos, these mini quizzes, because they will be on the test as well, okay? Good luck.